Hey, welcome to Food News and Chews, and I'm going to be extra nice to Jeremy today because look what he has.
I did bring my weapons, but we got a great show.
What are you doing? Yeah.
We're talking about the Kentucky Gathering. It's going to be at the Kentucky Horse Park. It celebrates horses, heritage, and hops. We've got Dr. Pearse Lyons, the man, to tell us all about it.
He is the man.
And then, of course, I'm going to use a little bit of Alltech ingredients, some beef, and make a nice recipe at the end of the show.
Sounds good. We'll be right back with Food News.
Why do chefs choose Lyons Farm beef?
It's consistent, it's delicious, it's got great tenderness, and it's really good for you. This nutritional element of making healthy animals for healthy eating is a big component about why their beef is so delicious. I feel so lucky to be a chef in Kentucky because the best way to express care for someone is to make them something to eat, and I get to do that every single day.
Lyons Farm beef, available at Critchfield Meats and LyonsFarm.com. Today's shoppers are informed. When shopping for the family meal, today's shopper chooses Critchfield Meats for fresh, all-natural quality meats, guaranteed. Make the right choice and visit our family before you feed yours. Critchfield Meats, the meat specialist, family owned and operated since 1969. That's a grade A choice, folks.
From concessions to festivals, bingo halls to daycare facilities, Seaworth Superstore is Kentucky's largest dealer for all your weekend kitchen or mobile kitchen supply needs. From popcorn to snow cone machines, we have the largest selection of new and used equipment with warranties to help keep your mobile food truck or weekend event going strong. That's Seaworth Superstore for Sales Road, Lexington. That's Seaworth Superstore, putting the Kentucky workforce back to work.
Hey, we're back with Food News and Chews. I'm going to let you chop away. That's pretty cool stuff. While we talk about food news.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, I was just in Duluth, Minnesota, cold country, but Lake Superior. Now, my point is, have you ever seen a black-furred squirrel?
A what?
Black fur.
No, I've never seen a black
do you
squirrel.
know that
In fact, look at a little evil squirrel, especially like, yeah, that's kind of crazy, a little black squirrel.
Yeah, they're black. They just run around. And just like regular squirrels, and then there are some brown ones, but they're usually black, and it's all about nature.
Oh, yeah?
And do you know that black squirrels are 11% warmer than brown squirrels?
Why? Does it make any sense?
Who knew?
Is it because of the color? Like,
Yeah, I guess it absorbs
heat?
like the sunlight and stuff, and you don't see them here. Anyway, my point is,
Like whenever
there really
I wear
is
a black T-shirt outside in the sunlight, I
and
get
then
really
you
hot.
absorb heat. Well, my point on that is we're going to be talking a lot in the coming weeks about nature versus science, and that's one of the things that I want to take up.
I love talking
today.
about that.
I know, it's kind of cool because all of the, in addition to talking about Alltech, which is a great company and does such wonderful things with animal nutrition and human nutrition and happy animals leading to better meat and all of that. And I think we're finding out there's a marriage that's taking place between science and nature. And nature is teaching science a lot. Nature solves big problems over long ranges of time, and scientists solve problems in laboratories over specific issues.
We mess them up quickly, and then we try to solve them
Yeah, and then
very
that's
quickly,
right.
yes.
But we're starting to work together better. But let me share with you and our viewers that, I love going into bookstores and looking at the magazines, and they have the special food issues coming out now. So you have Scientific American.
And that's kind of a breakthrough thing in the foodie world, too, to have food be the cover of Scientific American.
Of Scientific American. The Atlantic, which is a revered ancient magazine that does a lot of policy work. And then finally, Wired. Well, some of the issues deal with, and most of these, interestingly enough, Jeremy, are sort of apologies for science.
Right.
That there's a great fear that we're moving away from science as people are starting to realize that basically technology can't solve all our problems. Then you have the local food movement. You have the natural kind of stuff that's going on out there and how important that's going to be. Like, for instance, there's a GMO article in one of these magazines that basically says labeling is not a good idea. You know why?
Labeling GMOs, why?
Because it fear, it causes fear in people. They get all scared, and then, you know, and when GMO, now I'm just telling you what the magazine said.
Right,
okay?
right.
And it said that, that people didn't need to know all of that, too much information, because GMOs have been proven not to be unsafe in food. What do you think?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course they don't want people to know about this stuff because there's very, very confusing labels and, you know, and kind of, you know, ingredients in there. Like I had a conversation this week on natural flavorings. I think we talked about that a little bit. And what consists of natural flavoring. So, you know, pick up a label, look on the back, and you're going to see natural flavorings. And that could be a list. It's a program list. You call the company, ask them what this is. They're going to tell you a list of what this could be. It could be animal product, it could be dairy, you know, could be, you know, meat, could be produce, could be
something that you might
find. Fiber. Now, what they mean by,
to.
you know, animal fiber is, okay, if you've got a vegan ingredient, it's like, okay, well, I don't really want to eat a meat product. Can you tell me that there's no meat products in this natural flavoring? Well, they can't because it's made up of a lot of things.
Right.
For instance, if you want raspberry and vanilla flavors, it's usually made from beaver anal glands.
You said what?
Yes, beaver anal glands. So other things that produce different aromas in the natural flavorings will be like an exoskeleton from a female insect. So this is what's in our food. Of course, they don't want it labeled. And it's very interesting science how people come up with this stuff.
What chefs get it? You better watch
I think it's
these
very
people.
interesting. I'm not saying it's bad, but I think the information is probably good.
Information is good, and people want information. There's a lot of things going on in these magazines, like Wired, for instance, deals with fake chicken. You know, people don't like to eat real chicken for lots of reasons.
We typically don't eat real chicken anyway. It's usually some kind of ground pulp, right?
Yeah, well, here this is, they said texture is the big issue with fake meat. That they've got things that taste like chicken, like tofu and stuff, but it's the texture of food that because, you know, in one of the other articles, they talk about how cooking actually caused the civilization of human beings because by cooking food and meats, we're meat eaters by nature, carnivores, whatever they call that. So over time, we have learned how to, due to cooking, it breaks down. See, you're the savior of the world. You're the reason that we're intelligent because that allowed our brains to grow bigger because you can process food better.
That's right. What, really?
Yeah, really. No joke.
So that's really, so it's just better nutrition delivery through cooking.
Yeah, it's cooking. Cooking invented.
I like it.
Human.
I'm going to stick to that one.
Yeah, so anyway,
job security for me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be right back with an interview with Dr. Pearse Lyons of Alltech.
Yeah.
Worldly influenced, locally inspired. Azure Restaurant and Patio, contemporary fine dining in a relaxed atmosphere right here in Lexington. Modern award-winning dishes with a distinctive Kentucky twist from the mind of nationally recognized chef Jeremy Ashby. Voted best fine dining in Lexington. Azure is chef-created, chef-driven, and Kentucky proud since day one. Taste something unique at Azure Restaurant and Patio, Beaumont Center in Lexington. And see Chef Jeremy Ashby and Sylvia Lovely on the Food News and Chews, Sunday night at 11 on Fox 56.
I passed Sullivan every day on my way to work, and I knew that they had a culinary program. And after researching culinary schools, you know, I found that Sullivan had a very elite program, so I wanted to be a part of it. Well, Sullivan is the perfect program for somebody who's interested in having more control over their own destiny when it comes to the culinary program. You can grow as much as you want to at Sullivan. You're not hindered by anything. With the chefs there, their knowledge is great.
Hello, my name is Bob. Recently, I switched my business phone service to Glow Telecom. Now I'm saving over 50% on my monthly phone bills, over $2,000 a year. And I have a PBX phone system that would have cost me over $10,000. Unlimited calling to the US and Canada with no long distance charges. If you want to put money back in your wallet, call Glow Telecom today.
Call Glow Telecom at 888-428-0984. 888-428-0984.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yes.
We're back with Food News and Chews, and we're here at the pub at the beautiful Alltech headquarters with Dr. Pearse Lyons. What's that all about?
This is my new favorite place. And Dr. Pearse Lyons, we're here on the eve of the Kentucky Gathering, which, you know, tell us about the gathering. How did you come up with this idea, the inspiration for our celebration of horses and heritage and hops?
And hops. What is it, too?
Not really our idea. It's the Irish government's idea. And they decided what they wanted was something which would rejuvenate industry, something which would rejuvenate tourism. So they said, let's have a gathering. And in fact, Scotland did it even before they did it. But the Irish gathering has been a runaway success. Tourism is up 20%. new businesses are up 15%.
Is this through the year or because of this gathering?
Through the year. 5,000 events have occurred because of the gathering.
And people come in from other, what's the focus of the gathering?
Well, the focus of the gathering is to gather all those people who are interested in Ireland. That was their idea.
Have heritage from
So we're
there?
saying, of course.
Like me.
And so we're saying, why not have a Kentucky gathering where we have all things great in Kentucky? So we looked at the model that the Irish government had, and we have participated in that model to maybe 10, 12 events. And we've actually had something like 4,000 people get on a plane, go to Ireland and participate in the gathering. So we have the National Horse Show. But the National Horse Show has had a disconnect with the city of Lexington. Yeah, it's the National Horse Show, and it's in from Madison Square Garden. It's been there for 100 years, so and so on. So how do we connect? So we thought, well, you know, you've got a program over there that works. So why don't we take that program and bring it here, call it the Gathering? So what do we have to celebrate? Well, we are the land of the horse capital of the world. We are also heritage. We've got connections to Ireland, of course, through bluegrass music. We have all the stuff that Everett McCorvey is doing downtown. We have this resurrection, as it were, of music and art. So,
and food.
And food. And then the craft brewing and distilling.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's not a resurrection. That's a revolution. And that revolution is going like this. And we say, well, why don't we bring those people in? But also, since we're an integral part of the Bourbon Trail, why don't we bring those in? So we have
everything together,
mixed
converging.
in together and used in one spot.
It's a great mix. There's so many regionally specific things that are to be proud of.
And Kentucky traditions that come largely in part from Ireland. What about food? I know there's a lot of food events going on in Savor Kentucky, and I think you have a sensory panel going on.
Well, once again,
as
part of our gathering in Ireland, we had the pairing of foods with beers, the pairing of foods with whiskies, the pairing of foods with wines. And we said, well, why not have something which was almost the taste of Kentucky? And so the taste of Kentucky would have all things good from Kentucky. We went out to restaurants like yours and said, okay, will you salute it? Will you help with it? And of course, the Azores have always said, yeah, sure, it's a new idea, we'll help you.
Anything that you all are
now,
involved
this is
with,
the
we
Dine
want to be there.
Lexington program. Which
That's the Dine Lexington program. We're trying to make that connection between the horse park and
tying it
downtown.
Sure.
We'll have shuttles going between downtown and the horse park. We virtually every business in the city has said we will send out information on this. You know, gathering. People are always interested in hanging out, telling stories, and the stories of Kentucky, and the stories of be it basketball, football, or what have you, or food. And that's what this gathering is all about. And it's getting traction, because we found on the school side, the kids want to come out and see what are horses about, what opportunities are there in the equine business and in the food business. It's very interesting. When the economy went south, big time, there were certain things which went north, big time. And
you mean like geographically?
Some of them should have gone geographically. Most of them didn't. In fact, we even gave a few people one-way tickets. And they still didn't get the message.
Can I add to that list?
We'll give you a ticket. Right, here's your ticket. So what went north? Interest in agriculture, interest in food, interest in beverages, interest in bourbon, interest in beer.
Yeah.
And now there's a renewed interest in horses. We just had the Keeneland sales.
Sure, it's traditions.
Highest sales in 10 years and so forth.
You're absolutely right.
So those things are moving this way. Our economy is still flat, if not going the other way. But the gathering gives us a time to celebrate.
You said in Ireland this actually created jobs and such, and it's
huge.
like people coming home.
Huge.
Is this being advertised widely
so
that people will come from other places, perhaps?
Absolutely.
That have a connection to Kentucky. That's a huge thing.
The first event that the Irish had was a game between Notre Dame and Navy, and 34,000 people, Americans, flew into Dublin. It was the biggest movement of Americans since D-Day.
Since D-Day. Oh, wow.
Go figure.
Wow.
So we went up to Washington. We met with our 2 senators. We met with all 6 of our congressmen. They said, sign us on if there's something we can do. So this is the first year, and undoubtedly it won't be the last year. But there's so many, you're going to have a party. People are going to come to this party, and that's what the gathering is all about. It's a party.
I love it. I think it's great. It's a perfect storm of
Foods,
opportunity.
brews, and spirits at Savor Kentucky. And that's going to showcase right there in the Alltech Arena out at the Kentucky
in the
Horse
Alltech
Park.
Arena and around the Alltech Arena. It's about the horse park.
Well,
as
yeah, it
much as
reminds me
anything else.
of the games when, that was quite a display of events and such. I mean, this is awesome.
I don't remember. We were so busy.
You were at a whirlwind.
We didn't get too much time to enjoy it. But yeah, it's going to be like that.
How about the sensory panel? There's something like tasting and savoring.
I'm very interested in this, too.
Of course.
Well, you are, of course, because you're in the restaurant business. In the restaurant business, you're a chef, and chefs do these things, and they create these things. And so the idea of the sensory side is, well, how do I become a beer expert? And how do I tell the difference between a beer which has so much hops in it that, in fact, you can't drink it, and it covers up a multitude, which most of those hoppy beers are, and what's a real good beer, and what's a real good bourbon, and how do we, in fact, tie those in with foods? And then on the food side, one of the most popular sectors, I think, of the TV business at the moment is cooking, which is somewhat ironic because we're doing less and less cooking in the kitchens, and all these houses have beautiful kitchens which are never used. Having said that,
Job security.
having said that, we all really want to learn to cook.
Sure. And see it in action. Yeah.
You should see my son's kitchen. I mean, he's got all the cooking equipment that you could shake a stick at in Beijing.
No, in Beijing.
China. Probably has it here too.
There.
I don't think he's ever used it.
Never used it.
But
But
he watches the shows, and so again, people like to go. So, give me that recipe. And how
Well, that's why those millions watch us.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, right.
Is that why they watch it? Yeah, okay.
Millions. Yeah, that's true. So tell us real quickly about, you've got all of these things, and we're in this great pub, which you can test out your drinks and spirits and beers and such right here.
Well, you can do it right here. Of course, we have another one downtown, and Deirdre's is building another one in Ireland, and so on and so forth.
You ought to meet her.
For somebody who's virtually a teetotal person, so she's doing all these.
She's amazing.
So where will the sensory experience take place at? Is that more
in
like
Pearse's
an
place?
exhibit?
An exhibit there in Pearse's place, and if you're thinking of participating, you better get your name down because based on the gathering that we had in Ireland, it was sold out. And there's a lot of fun. We have people like you.
Oh, yeah, I would
Let's
love
go.
it. There's such an interesting craft beer and brewing and distilling now that I think it's going to be
and it's
very
endless.
popular.
And you have been doing this and
forever.
We'll be talking to Dr. Lyons some more because one of the things I want to explore at you at some point, you have a PhD in yeast.
I'm brewing.
And brewing, and you're brewing. And so we'll be back. This won't be the last day we'll hear of Dr. Lyons, but we're going to come right back, and we'll probably be cooking up a tasty Alltech dish in our cooking segment.
Cheers to that.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us here today. We'll be right back.
Now, the award-winning dishes enjoyed at Azure Restaurant and Patio can be featured at your next event when you order from Azure Catering. Our services include menu planning with our amazing food, event site location, rental equipment, linens, event staffing, and seeing to every last detail of your wedding, special event, or corporate event. Visit AzureCateringKY.com or call 859-327-7125 to start customizing your menu today.
Why do chefs choose Lyons Farm beef?
But when I get things in the kitchen, I can tell right off the bat. After I get done searing it or put it on the grill or roasting it or baking it or frying it or whatever I'm going to do, the second I cut into that thing, whether it's the resistance on the fork or just the way it kind of slides across the knife, it's got to be right on from the get-go. And it seems like this beef does that every single time.
Lyons Farm beef, available at Critchfield Meats and LyonsFarm.com.
From concessions to festivals, bingo halls to daycare facilities, Seaworth Superstore is Kentucky's largest dealer for all your weekend kitchen or mobile kitchen supply needs. From popcorn to snow cone machines, we have the largest selection of new and used equipment with warranties to help keep your mobile food truck or weekend event going strong. That's Seaworth Superstore for Sales Road, Lexington. That's Seaworth Superstore, putting the Kentucky workforce back to work.
Hey, welcome back. And Jeremy, you got a delicious looking item right there.
Yes, this is a Lyons Farm Cowboy Ribeye. Cowboy because it's got the bone in. You can just take it, pick it up, and eat it like a caveman cowboy thing, right?
Yeah, it's like pick it up by the bone.
Yeah, Trent Luce would love this. Anyway, great, beautiful piece of meat, healthy animal, good marbling. I'm using a little bit of applewood smoked salt just to kind of cover this thing up. And I'm going to do a Latin preparation today.
I wonder why you're doing that.
Yeah, really, right? Teaser for an upcoming venture we're doing. But we're playing around with some recipes. We're going to do a steak with chimichurri sauce. It's very, very simple, and I love it. I could eat it every single day.
Look at all these pretty things.
And chimichurri is like a condiment in Latin America. It's almost like a table ketchup.
Yeah.
So it's, it's not used very well here, but, around
we're going to start using it a whole lot more, aren't we?
So first thing we do, we can just stick this steak in the skillet and just let it cook.
Oh, let's do it.
How we talked about searing, just let your meat do its thing,
and then you have to get all this other stuff.
And then we're going to come back and make all this, so here we go.
That you've been chopping up throughout this whole time. Hey, you got to put all these pieces and parts together, right? And
yeah, I do. We've got a little serrano pepper I got to cut up real quick.
Sounds great. So. Hey, while we're at it, let me give them some more information about the Kentucky Gathering. They've heard from Dr. Lyons here today, and he's sort of the man. He's
I love the idea of this gathering. It sounds like a great way to bring people to Kentucky.
As you announced, it was Horses, Heritage, and Hops. It's October 29th through November 3rd at the Kentucky Horse Park. Lots of really great stuff to bring the kids. You can go to KentuckyGathering.com and get all the information that you're going to need on that. You can do Savor Kentucky. That sounds good.
You just savored all of Kentucky right there.
That's on Friday and Saturday, 2 to 8. And then you have a free kids area. Really, I think the emphasis is this is for the whole family, and this is to bring in people who just really, this is modeled after something that took place in Ireland.
Yeah, I mean, it celebrates all that we have going on around here.
Yeah, and bringing people back who maybe left. And, there's not a famous person that's left this state that says they don't want to come back. That's cool.
Right. All right, so here's a little serrano pepper. You can use jalapeno if you want to. I like serrano because it's got a little bit more heat to it. It's nice green chili kind of flavors.
Great.
So this is such a simple recipe. All I did was chop some cilantro here and some parsley here. And one bunch of piece, you grab a bunch of parsley at the store, just grab it and rip it.
Or
forget about the stems. Don't worry about that, just chop them up, it's fine. For herbs, most of the times I don't take the time to pick the leaves off. Just grab them, just rip them and go.
Yeah.
Throw them in there chopped, a little serrano.
Chop.
Pepper or jalapeno.
Yeah, hear that steak.
Yeah, the steak's going crazy back there. Nice chopped fresh garlic.
Think about the sounds and the tastes and the smells of food.
Everything. Yeah, I mean, I love everything about that.
Everything comes in.
So green onion, scallion, whatever you want to call it. Good bunch of that. And then red onion, brunoise, small dice. You don't want to get a big bite of red onion, so dice this stuff small, almost a mince.
Yeah. And I can smell it, though. I love the smell of onions.
Right, good stuff.
That's good.
So then, lemon juice, just like the juice of a lemon. Just hold your hand over, squeeze that in there.
Nice.
And then a couple limes as well. You want to stir that up with a little spoon, kind of get that working.
Oh, I love it when he trusts me to do things. He doesn't trust me with that knife, though. I don't blame you.
Lime juice in there. Now this will start breaking down the herbs and kind of get all the aromatics moving. The onions will start bleeding their flavors into the mix, and then the garlic starts popping out. It's like, hey, a big party in this pan. This little bowl here.
They're doing the rumba.
Smell it too. They're doing the rumba, man. They're doing the rumba. They're ready to do a little chimichurri on the steak. So that's nice and going. And then we're going to add olive oil. And it's kind of a saucy little thing. It's almost like a condiment. Extra virgin.
Extra virgin.
Now see how it's kind of a little bit soupy down here?
Yeah.
Good. So all seasoned. I'm going to use that smoked salt again. Just kind of like the smoky flavors in there. Get that seasoned up good and let it marinate for a little while. Now if you made this ahead of time, you could actually marinate the steak in it. But I just love this fresh green condiment.
That is beautiful.
Another great thing to have with a steak like this, to keep it nice and fresh and light, because the meat's heavy. So a little salad called ensalada vigorón. It's like a little green cabbage and red onion and cucumbers.
Say that again. Say that name.
Vigorón. Yeah, I know, right?
Excellent.
Nice tomato and some pepper.
Oh, the colors! Look
I
at
know.
those.
Just kind of mix that up. It's
Nice
just a
fall colors.
fresh
too.
green salad.
Mixed in, orange.
Yep, a little bit more lime juice in here and salt would be great. So we'll flip that steak, come back and put all the good stuff on it.
All right, let's do it. All right.
Okay.
Now what? Ooh, that looks
Well,
beautiful.
the steak comes out, set on the cutting board, just kind of let it hang out for a minute. But because we're on TV, we're gonna have to rush it.
Oh, because we're on TV, I can't just pick it up and go.
Well, you can. I don't mind.
Really?
So well, I'm gonna just for presentation slice this guy in half. So I like the
Perfect.
slow.
Oh,
Show
it
that
looks perfect,
nice little
yeah. Perfect.
medium there, which most people like. Nice little pile of this salad right here.
Oh, that's
Oh,
I
nice
could
and
eat
fresh.
that, like a whole bowl of that.
Right, and then we'll kind of make sure this bone gets kind of way up here in the air. And can't forget this great chimichurri all over the steak. Same thing on this side.
Ah,
Show that up.
presentation.
Yeah, it's all about. Got to eat with your eyes.
Beautiful.
Lots
Beautiful.
more chimichurri.
Hey, while you're doing that, Jeremy, you know that if you don't, you're participating, Azura is participating, we are doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Dine Lexington.
Dine Lexington, yeah.
If you come to, well, I think 30 restaurants are participating in
Yeah,
Dine Lexington
that's
during the gathering, during that whole week. And so if you dine at one of those places, and a participating restaurant, you can like bring your receipt out and get a free admission.
That's right. And plus, you know, the restaurants have great deals. I think it's about $25.
Yeah.
And some people
Some
doing
have a
double
three-course meal.
courses or, you know, different things at each restaurant. So get out and try everybody's.
And that's October
25 places,
29th through
3 days.
November 3rd. That is awesome.
Yeah,
and
good stuff.
This is awesome.
So it's time
Let's
to dig
get
in,
to
right?
it, buddy. All right. We'll see you out at the horse park this coming week. It's going to be a great time at the Kentucky Gathering.
I passed Sullivan every day on my way to work, and I knew that they had a culinary program. And after researching culinary schools, you know, I found that Sullivan had a very elite program, so I wanted to be a part of it. Well, Sullivan is the perfect program for somebody who is interested in having more control over their own destiny when it comes to the culinary program. You can grow as much as you want to at Sullivan. You're not hindered by anything. With the chefs there, their knowledge is great.
Worldly influenced, locally inspired. Azure Restaurant and Patio, contemporary fine dining in a relaxed atmosphere right here in Lexington. Modern award-winning dishes with a distinctive Kentucky twist from the mind of nationally recognized chef Jeremy Ashby. Voted best fine dining in Lexington. Azure is chef-created, chef-driven, and Kentucky proud since day one. Taste something unique at Azure Restaurant and Patio, Beaumont Center in Lexington. And see Chef Jeremy Ashby and Sylvia Lovely on the Food News and Chews, Sunday night at 11 on Fox 56.